Hey everyone. So fasting, it's been a huge part of spiritual practice for, well, thousands of years. But today we're going to look past the faith aspect for a minute and dive into the incredible, kind of hidden science of what's actually happening inside our bodies when we decide to stop eating. Let's get into it.
When we think about fasting, our minds usually go straight to a willpower, right? To discipline. But there's this whole other story, a deep biological one that's unfolding inside of us. So, what is going on at a cellular level when we skip a few meals? That's exactly what we're going to break down.
Okay, so for literally hundreds of millions of Muslims, fasting during Ramadan is a huge deal. It's a foundational pillar of their faith. It's a time for prayer, reflection, and getting closer to God. But deep beneath the surface of that powerful spiritual practice, something else is going on. Something pretty remarkable is happening to the body.
And that's where we flip from the spiritual to the scientific. Because when you fast, it's like you're hitting this giant reset switch for your entire body. The very first thing that changes? Your hormones. These are the chemical messengers that run the whole show, and they get a complete shakeup. So let's talk about the main player here, insulin. The easiest way to think about insulin is like a key. When you eat, your insulin levels go up, and it unlocks your cells to let all that sugar, that glucose, in for energy. So when there's plenty of food around, your body is basically in storage mode. And this is where that big switch happens. See, on the left, when you're eating normally, you've got high insulin, your body's burning sugar for fuel and storing any extra. But look at the right. When you fast, your insulin levels totally drop. And with no new sugar coming in, your body has no choice but to start burning its stored fat for energy. But here's the really cool part. It also flips the body's main focus from storage to repair. Now, this repair mode we're talking about, it's not just some minor tune-up. We're talking about a profound, deep cleaning process that, honestly, science is only just now starting to fully get its head around. You could even call it a hidden miracle happening right inside our own cells. Think of your body like a really busy city. Over time, junk starts to pile up, right? Old car parts, broken down equipment, just waste. Well, the exact same thing happens inside our bodies. Our cells build up old, damaged, and even potentially dangerous junk that can clog up the system and stop things from working right. So, how does the body actually take out the trash? It does it with this incredible process called autophagy. I know, it's a weird word. It literally means self-eating, which sounds pretty intense, but it's actually the body's own brilliant built-in recycling program. It finds all the junk, the damaged parts, and basically eats them, breaking them down into raw materials to be used again. So here's how it goes down. Step 1, that cellular junk builds up. Step 2, activation. And what's one of the most powerful ways to kickstart this whole cleanup process? You got it, fasting. When you fast, you seriously ramp up autophagy, and that leads to step 3, renewal. Your body clears out all the gunk and recycles it to build healthy, new parts. It is literally cellular spring cleaning. And look, if you're thinking this sounds a little too good to be true, this isn't some fringe theory. This is a big deal. The science behind this is so important that back in 2016, a scientist named Yoshinori Osumi actually won the Nobel Prize for figuring out how autophagy works. This is top-tier, validated science we're talking about. So let's just pause for a second. We have this amazing Nobel Prize-winning biological process that gets supercharged by fasting. And this is where an ancient act of faith and cutting-edge science don't just happen to exist at the same time. They actually meet. They intersect in this really, really beautiful way. I mean, it's just amazing how perfectly these ideas mirror each other. Science tells us fasting leads to cellular repair. Faith talks about self-purification. Science shows us hormone regulation. Faith talks about building self-discipline. We see increased physical resilience, which can lead to a deeper sense of empathy and gratitude. It's like the body and the soul are on the exact same journey. What all of this shows us is a kind of hidden wisdom, a wisdom that was baked into these ancient practices for centuries, way, way before we ever had the microscopes or the fancy lab gear to see what was actually going on under the hood. And at the end of the day, understanding the science of autophagy doesn't take away from the spiritual meaning of fasting. For a lot of people, it actually does the opposite. It just reveals another incredible layer of genius to it all, a physical mechanism for renewal that goes hand in hand with the spiritual one. And that just leaves you with this one last fascinating thought to chew on. Modern science is only now catching up and confirming the incredible benefits of a practice that's thousands of years old. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other hidden wisdom is out there in these ancient traditions, just waiting for us to discover it?